infrastructure around me and what they're trying to put in my neighborhood in East Boston. We are fighting against this substation, and we'll continue to fight. We will continue to fight because it's the right thing to do. I just have to give some shout outs to some incredible activists and folks who are here all the way from Winthrop, Mothers Out Front. I want to also, from my neighborhood of East Boston, GreenRoots is here as well. Mothers Out Front from Cambridge. I want to thank ELM. I want to thank so many folks and organizations who have been in the fight. But again, acknowledging that the land that we are on, we should always give a shout out to the original stewards of our environment, which are the indigenous people. They were the original mothers, all right? The original mothers are indigenous. And I think it's important that we never forget that. It's their legacy that we must continue, but it's also their legacy that we must acknowledge. So this is part of the same conversation as we unite and grow this movement for environmental justice, which is also racial justice, which is economic justice. It's all of those justices combined. And if we forget any aspect, we are not going to win this. The fact of the matter is we are pitted against each other all the time. I had a wonderful call from unions saying, I don't know, Lydia, you're a member and we're scared that we're in stopping all this infrastructure, these pipes, we're going to be out of a job. And I said, that's a false choice. That's a false choice. You need to come visit me in my neighborhood over in East Boston at Eastie Farm and come see the new thermal greenhouse that we just set up with massive infrastructure to make sure it stays warm and cold whenever we need it to. That's the future. That's the moral compass we are on. That way is where we are headed. ISO wants us to take us back. We are not going back. We refuse to go back. We demand standards that build for our future, for our children, that demands that create good jobs in a future that is sustainable and green. This is the future we're talking about. And it's for all of us in all of our languages, wherever we are from, regardless of our income. I live in an environmental justice community. I have asthma. I know. I have an airport that pollutes regularly over our heads. We have this substation coming in. It is not part of our future. It should be part of our present right now. And we're fighting. I want to give credit to Mayor Wu. The first thing she signed in the law was to divest $60 million from fossil fuels. That's what the mayor did. And we're every day fighting against the substation. And the first thing we filed, because what we can't stand is that it is an industrial complex. Don't confuse it. It is an industrial complex, and in order for it to survive, just like with the prison one, they must create a dependency. It's a false dependency. It is a false dependency. And that's what Eversource did. They told us, you need us, East Boston. They told us, you're going to pay for us to be there, East Boston. And then they told us when they're coming. And we said no. We refuse. We're changing our zoning laws right now in Boston to make sure never shall a public utility company come in and tell us what we need. Yeah. They are not for our environmental, they are not for our sustainability, they are for their profit margins. That's it. So we need zoning and we need actual caretakers and guardians in government to set standards that have nothing to do with the profit margins of these companies, but have everything to do with a sustainable future. I don't want my tax dollars going into helping Eversource and all these other utility companies, National Grid, stay afloat. I want my tax dollars to go into absolutely dismantle them. That's the plan I like. So I'm here in solidarity to fight for that dismantling. One riot, one protest, one law at a time, and we will get there. Because we are on the moral right. We are headed in the right direction. This is for generations before us, and this is for generations that will come after us. We shall not be moved.
People united will never be defeated.
We are left vulnerable to this kind of blackmail from totalitarian countries that have oil supplies because we aren't doing the transition to solar. We aren't doing the transition to wind. And ISO has not reacted at all to the changing world around us. We're here to shake that up. They've been operating in the dark, and we are now trying to put the light on them. That's what we're around.
You gotta fix the grid. You gotta fix the grid. You can't do what you did. You can't do what you did. Green power's what we need. Green power's what we need. Say no to gas and greed. Say no to gas and greed. Green power's what we need. Green power's what we need. Say no to gas and greed. Say no to gas and greed.
Now we're going to have some folks from GreenRoots. We have Noemy Rodriguez, and her translator is going to be John Walkey.
Alright, GreenRoots!
Blending my skills with the cause.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi
Buenas
nombre
tardes.
es Noemy Rodríguez. Soy organizadora con Raíces Verdes en East Boston, una activista comunitaria y madre de 3 hijos. Mis hijos han crecido en East Boston. Soy un inmigrante salvadoreña y he estado viviendo en los Estados Unidos durante 14 años y los últimos 9 años en East Boston.
Hello, my name is Noemy Rodriguez. I'm the East Boston organizer for GreenRoots, a community activist and a mother of 3 sons who I am raising here in East Boston. Some of them are running around here right now. I am an immigrant from El Salvador and have been living here in the U.S. for 14 years, the last 9 in East Boston.
He estado organizando con mis vecinos en contra de la propuesta de Everson para construir una subestación de alto voltaje en nuestra comunidad al lado del parque, donde hay una área que ya se inunda con fuertes lluvias y se encuentra en la costa del río dañada. Este es un ejemplo del tipo de proyectos que tenemos en nuestra comunidad, proyectos peligrosos que presentan riesgos en nuestras vidas, pero no generan beneficios ambientales para nuestros residentes, ni mucho menos trabajo para personas que realmente lo necesitan.
I've been organizing with my neighbors against the Eversource proposal for a high voltage substation in our community near the playground where our children play. The substation is located on the banks of the Chelsea Creek in an area that already floods with heavy rains, and it's on a damaged shoreline, eroding shoreline. This project is an example of the kinds of projects we get in our communities. Dangerous projects that introduce risks to our lives but not environmental benefits to our residents, much less jobs to people who really need them.
El proyecto representa más riesgos ambientales en nuestro barrio y la pérdida de oportunidad de algunos beneficios ambientales. Pero lo peor es el proceso por el cual aprobaron el proyecto. Miembros de la comunidad que hablan español presentaron una denuncia estatal para este proyecto donde no se hubo interpretación. Aunque hubiera habido interpretación, el tema técnico no lo hubiéramos entendido.
This project represents more environmental risks in our neighborhood and the loss of opportunity for some environmental benefits in its place. But even more insulting is the process we went through to get here. Spanish-speaking members of the community showed up to a state hearing for this project, to announce the project, and there was no interpretation provided. And even if they had interpreted this information so technical, we would not have even understood it if they had put it into Spanish.
La Agencia Regional ISO de Nueva Inglaterra tomó decisiones sobre la red eléctrica, que termina con proyectos como este. La comunidad no tiene ni voz ni voto. A la comunidad no se le informa al respecto, a la comunidad no les dan otras opciones o explicaciones de por qué esto. Lo que termina ocurriendo es que estos proyectos son impuestos sobre nosotros. Esto es incorrecto. Queremos opinar de dónde viene nuestra energía y cómo llega a nuestras casas. Queremos que ISO de Nueva Inglaterra respete a nuestras comunidades y priorice nuestras necesidades, tanto como las necesidades de la compañía multimillonaria como Eversource.
ISO New England makes decisions about what is needed for our electrical grid that results in projects like these. The community has no say in it. The community is not told about it. The community is not provided any other options or explanations as to why a project needs to happen. We just have the project happen to us. This is not right. We want to say where our energy comes from and how it gets to us. We want ISO New England to respect our communities and prioritize our needs as much as the needs of a multimillionaire company like Eversource. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I want to mention that our videographer here today is a person who's working with Clean Air Taunton and has asked us to mention an organization and another community organization dealing with infrastructure that they don't want that gets put on them because they don't have as much political power as other folks.